Next, we have administrative actions, the treasurer's report, and the bills to pay. If I can have a motion, please.
I'll move.
Have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're going to move the public comment period to the end of the meeting. We're going to go through the reports and new business first, and then before we do an adjournment, we'll have the public comment period. First report is from the solicitor, which is also included in the packet as well.
Thank you. Our office prepared an ordinance which gives a tax credit to volunteer firefighters. This ordinance will be considered by the township supervisors in the future. Our office worked on a problem concerning the Coble Park and the replacement of a small portion of the park with new areas dedicated to recreation as required by the National Park Service. We prepared a resolution authorizing the township manager to execute the PennDOT master casting agreement. Of course, we attended the township meetings on the 8th and the 28th. Our office prepared a resolution concerning online bill payments and resolving conflicts with prior ordinances and resolutions. We prepared a resolution banning Category 4 casinos within Lower Frederick Township, which will be considered this evening. We worked on legal issues concerning the reduce the land development project. Those are the principal items which we covered. Any questions? Thank you.
I was remiss. We wanted to have Chief Maxey go first, so if we wanted to have him go next, he has a prior commitment that he wants to get to tonight.
During the month of November, there was 153 incidents requiring police assistance. 123 of the said incidents were covered by Lower Frederick. State police covered 30 incidents in our absence. We received checks totaling $37.93 from our magisterial district court, and this money represents fines and restitution paid by defendants in criminal and traffic-related matters. I'll just police department has begun enforcement details throughout the Spring Mountain Township area. We started on Spring Mountain Road, and last week we ran a 6-hour enforcement detail with a piece of equipment that we borrowed from North Coventry Township. It's called an NRAD machine. And it allows us to compensate for certain topographical considerations and sightline problems with our traditional speed enforcement equipment. We issued 56 citations during that 6-hour block. Today, we ran a 4-hour block on Zieglerville Road. We issued 25 citations, and there was 4 warnings issued for equipment violations. We will continue to do this. We were cut short a little bit today based on the rain, and that's a safety concern. We did not make the decision to go out a little bit later than what we initially anticipated, but we'll be back to finish up another 2-hour block probably tomorrow on Zieglerville. We will be moving throughout the township. This is based on traffic studies that we conducted during the summer months, and we collected data, and we will continue to try to relieve some of these issues that we have in the township regarding speed and traffic.
While you're here too, I had on the agenda tonight his need to purchase a new computer for the new officer. In the past, some of the equipment with the computer that he purchased doesn't have enough storage capability. It's not running as much usable power as it needs. Also, probably a big part is none of the computers down here have a CD burner or any kind of a DVD player. And talking about it, he sometimes gets or has the ability to get surveillance CDs or video of, from security cameras, but he has no ability to play that. And also, as far as getting a CD burner, if that should ever be used as evidence or some type of he needs it for evidence in a case, doesn't have the ability to do that. So we're looking to purchase a, what is it, a Lenovo?
It's a Lenovo desktop.
Desktop for $1,100. So I know the ordinance or the resolution calls anything over $1,000 needs to come to you guys for approval.
That meets your specifications?
It does, and we worked specifically to try to compensate some of the problems that we had with some of our other systems. Not saying that those systems don't provide us the records management capability that we predominantly are using, but we do need to have the ability to especially play the CDs. For instance, Wawa in particular, when they give us a CD, CDS, it's on CD, they burn it from their mainframe right onto the CD, and we have the ability to replay it for our own viewing as well as for prosecution in court. So that's a huge issue for us. But the system that the manager is speaking of does meet those requirements, and we worked with a company that specifically did that for us. You know, kind of the background of what we're looking to do.
This is all mesh with all the new stuff we put in every
Right, 100%. And that was the advantage of this company that we spoke to, is they were really very familiar with Cody Systems, which is our record management system that we run, as well as the JNet and some of the other considerations that the state provides us that we have to have capabilities to run, as well as the security needs those security standards. So,
No, I'm just letting you go by it. Another, just want to note also, with Chief's help, through a $3,000 grant we were able to obtain, we purchased 2 AED units, one for the lobby here and one for the new police car. He's going to be running training, police department running training next week with the ambulance company to get those interested. AED, CPR, basic first aid, so we'll be trained to operate that.
That'll be upstairs here?
Yeah, we're going to buy a cabinet and we'll have the guys mounted in the in regards to the police car, we need to, there is money budgeted for next year for the purchase. I believe it's 18 weeks out, and once we place the order for that police car, it does come in under budget. So I'd like authorization to go ahead and order that.
It's in the budget next year?
It's part of the 2018 budget. We actually came in under budget for the upfitting as well as for the whole car. So we're well with our budget specs. When I spoke, we did. I got 3 competitive bids from 3 three separate vendors. They were all co-stars, but there's negotiation that can still take place. We went with the lowest bid. The situation is that we're being told that Ford, because of demand, is 18 weeks out minimum. So from the date of order, it's going to be 18 weeks until we see anything happen as soon as, and they said prepare to be even longer. So
Now, this is a new one for the additional force.
Correct.
Not a replacement yet.
now, this would be adding a new car. That's why some of the expense was a little bit higher than it is, because we're not transferring equipment from an older vehicle over into the new vehicle. So we had to purchase new equipment to outfit.
That'll bring us up to 3 total.
It'll bring us up to 3 marks and one unmarked car. We do have an old Ford here that is kind of like a community vehicle. Anybody in the township that has township business uses it. We just park it downstairs, but it's an old police car. But that's not really part of our full. We don't use that for police.
Yep, very good. Okay.
We're good.
I have a motion to approve the purchase.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, all those in favor say aye. Done?
One comment before
I have another obligation I can get to. I just want to make sure that I answer everybody's question.
It's nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Ron, that's it.
Just one comment I was going to make to add in what the chief said about our enforcement procedures that we're doing now with the speed traps and sort of what they overall. Inadvertently, sometimes word gets out when they're going to be. This should not be disseminated. This whole idea about letting residents know when they're going to come out, not a good idea, folks. I mean, the whole idea here is to get speeding problems down. Whether it's a resident, non-resident, doesn't matter. They're all endangering people in this township. So the idea of getting information like that out can hopefully save residents some money, not a good thing. We're wasting money. You've got people out there and they're spending time on that. We want to make sure we get as much as we can, make sure we try to get this problem down. We are spending time, effort, and so forth, and missing some of the folks. As far as I'm concerned, statistics show that more accidents happen when people are close to home than not. So to me, a township resident speeding, irregardless of their neighbors, is maybe even more of a problem than people passing through. So I implore you, not, if it comes out, inadvertent information, let's not put that out there so we get this problem under managed.
Our goal is to reduce speeding.
Right.
If you get the word out, it reduces speeding. If you find people, it reduces speeding.
It reduces speeding when they know someone's going to be there. Doing the right thing is doing it when no one's watching.
So you would rather somebody be speeding and get caught than be not speeding because they're afraid to get caught because they know about the speed trap.
Yeah. It'd be more of an incentive or a deterrent to someone.
Maybe if I warned somebody and they didn't speed, somebody wouldn't get killed that day.
Okay, I'd like to stop this and save your comment, please, for the public period, because I can see this could just carry on and be a conversation that will go on.
It's my opinion.
It's your opinion, and that's fine, it's on the record.
That's all I have to say.
I'd like to wait till the public comment period. Hold your comments, please. I want to move along. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
All right, we'll just go to the engineer's report.
Thank you. And I apologize, I'll be going on for a little while, but I've got a lot to cover tonight. First on my list, in recent weeks, I delivered a report to the Board of Supervisors and the manager. They've read and heard this report, but I'm providing it tonight for the general public. This is about the Ragusa tract. My letter is dated November 28th. It's a report to the township manager. It says, as requested. Can everybody hear me all right? It says, as requested, I have walked the site of the proposed creekside at Perkiomen, also known as Ragusa subdivision, to evaluate compliance with limits of disturbance as indicated on the project plans. The tree cutting performed in previous months appears to be in compliance with the limits of disturbance on the project plan. The limits of disturbance vary throughout the property in relation to the property boundary and the neighborhood setback. I have heard reference to a 100-foot buffer. The correct term, consistent with the township code, is a 100-foot neighborhood setback. The neighborhood setback is an offset for the boundary of each neighborhood or grouping of residential lots from certain features. The zoning ordinance includes a 100-foot neighborhood setback from the perimeter of the land being developed. This means that a 100-foot setback is maintained between the new lots and the existing tract boundary. There is no zoning code requirement that this 100-foot setback be densely forested or be undisturbed. I provided a plan to the township that depicted the limits of disturbance highlighted and the neighborhood setbacks also highlighted to help clarify this. On the afternoon of Wednesday, November 22nd, I met on site with Chris Leister of Schlau and Jen Scholl of Victory Gardens to walk the site. We began at the construction entrance and walked to the temporary stream crossing. We then walked parallel to the stream in a northerly direction and crossed the stream crossing which predated this development. Heading northeast, we located the property corner pin. I paced the distance from the pin towards the cut trees. The tree cutting did not appear to encroach on the limit of disturbance. However, many trees fell in a northwesterly direction, so the tops of the fallen trees were closer to the property line than the limits of disturbance. I do not believe this is a violation. I was advised that Victory Gardens would have removed those felled trees shortly after cutting had they not received a stop work order. Ribbons were visible throughout the site delineating the limit of disturbance as marked by Schlau. When paced from the stone wall along the property line, the limits appeared consistent with the plan. The tree cutting did not extend to the limits of clearing along the east side of the property. Apparently, work was halted before cutting was complete. The limits of disturbance are marked on site by survey flagging tape, and my investigation indicates the trees that were cut were within those marked limits of disturbance. Some of those trees fell towards the property perimeter. Recent grading activity on the site was limited to the area of the construction entrance and the temporary creek crossing. No grading was apparent on the east side of the creek. Subsequent to my site visit, on November 27th, there was a site visit by the Montgomery County Conservation District stating there does not appear to be any violations at this time. Still on the Ragusa development, a resolution is presented for the board's consideration tonight for sewage facilities planning for this subdivision. The planning document proposes connection of the 39 proposed homes and the 2 existing homes to public sewer. Our office has reviewed the documents to confirm that they are complete, and we offer no objection to the plan as submitted. We do note that a resident raised concern about the Planning Commission's completion of Component 4A with regard to presence of historic resources. The PHMC letter, which is Pennsylvania Historic Museum Commission letter for this project, noted no above-ground historic properties. They noted a high probability of archaeological sites in the area, but declined to perform further evaluation. The Planning Commission addressed the Component 4A review and properly checked off the box that stated there are no known historic or archaeological resources in the project area. So, for the board's consideration this evening, there's a resolution for plan revision for new land development. This is actually a form that DEP uses as a template, whereas we just fill in, or the applicant fills in the name of the developer and the development. So the package is complete and is ready for board action this evening, and it would be appropriate for the board to consider that this evening. Next item on my list is the Perkiomen Watershed Conservancy. Lower Frederick Township is required to meet minimum control measures in the Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System program, also known as the MS4 program. And that includes public outreach, public education, public involvement, and training for the municipal staff. Addressing these requirements involves time and money. We always look for efficient ways to address these requirements, trying to seek maximum value and minimize cost. Upon review of the current membership program with the Perkiomen Watershed Conservancy, I recommend the board consider joining the Perkiomen Watershed Conservancy as a benefactor member to take advantage of program benefits. In the packet that was prepared for you this evening by the township manager, just behind tab 2, there's a listing of the benefits that you would get from that membership. It includes educational articles, pamphlets and handouts created by PwC to educate residents. It includes stormwater statistics packages, a workshop for your municipal employees, workshops for your residents, and provision of storm drain medallions to mark your inlets. For $1,000, that seems to me to be a worthwhile bargain for the board to consider. Continuing on my report tonight, on 21 Sepp Road, a review was issued last week for a grading and stormwater permit associated with the construction of a new home on that wooded lot. That requires resubmission. We had some comments. And the last thing on my report is regarding Coble Park. So a proposal was actually sent over the township late yesterday for consideration. The proposal is for survey and creation of a plan of subdivision to change the configuration of 2 township-owned lots that make up Coble Park. It was brought to the township's attention a little while back that when the salt shed was constructed, and that salt shed's been up almost 2 decades, mind you, but apparently it was placed over land that was obtained with DCNR funding. DCNR noticed. They've requested that the lot line be reconfigured to exclude the land containing the public works facilities. So, obtained for you a proposal prepared from Erweiler and Walter for survey and a plan to address that lot line change and do it as a plan of subdivision. It would be similar to what was done for the fire company property a couple of years back. The total amount of that proposal, all the pieces combined, was $8,100. And if the board so authorizes, then we can proceed with that activity. That concludes all the items on my report this evening, but I'm happy to address any questions you might have on these or other township engineering matters.
Did you want a motion on your topics?